In today's episode of Don't Trust 5-Star Reviews, we're looking at the worst dashcam I've seen in a long time. Let's get this train wreck started. Here is packaging that just screams quality. A nice white void, very cleanly designed with a stock photo of the product and a custom font that is almost legible. Car DVR or car over, you decide. Now this is supposed to be a 3-channel dashcam with a front, interior, and rear facing camera. 3 separate cameras, and it does include 3 cameras, but the user manual has a bit of foreboding foreshadowing. Check this out. Installation note number 1. Please test the rear camera firstly. If it works well, then install. Package without rear lens can be ignored. I just want to make it really clear that this was advertised as a 3-channel dashcam. At the time of purchase, it had 5-star reviews that were blatantly fake, and it had somehow made its way to the top of the search for dashcams on Amazon Canada. There are a whole bunch of dashcams that look similar to this flooding the market, and I suspect that internally they're going to be all very similar. Externally too, this e-waste grade plastic. Feels like I'm holding nothing at all. Here is the most confusing user interface on a dashcam, with a D-pad that faces sideways to the screen and buttons that are reversed to what they should intuitively be. After well over a decade of off-camera button mashing, I finally figured out the user interface and got the camera set up, and then tried the rear camera. So here's the thing, right? This is advertised as a 3-channel dashcam. It has 3 cameras included in the box. However, it cannot actually record onto 3 different cameras. No matter what settings I tried, what plugging and unplugging I did, what power cycling, resetting, memory cards, all of that fun stuff, nothing could get the rear camera to function at the same time as the front and internal camera. The rear camera, functionally speaking, is only a backup camera, and it only shows up on the screen when your car is in reverse. It doesn't record, doesn't save anything to the memory card. In any modern car with a built-in backup camera, it's functionally useless. But that's far from the worst part. Oh, no. We're just getting started here. You've been enjoying the video from this camera, which is supposedly 1080p. And yes, it writes a file at 1080p 30 frames per second in MOV format, so it's a little bit better than some other cameras we've seen in that regard at least. But something's a bit off with the color and the exposure. Like, look at this. Well, the first thing that's wrong is these clips were taken in winter 2022 and it's now summer 2022, so that's just how long I've been sitting on this for. And second of all, everything is really yellow and warm and blown out. There's a substantial loss of detail in the surroundings, and license plates are challenging to read just because of how bright the video is. If you remember a while back, I reviewed a cheap camera from a brand called Chortao that had the same user interface, had the same startup sounds, and the same kind of yellow color cast. I suspect that that's built on the same image sensor, but Chortao has turned down the brightness at least, so they could have some license plate readability, whereas this is just awful. The frame rate's there, yeah, it's 30 frames per second. It is a very low quality 1080p, but man, wow, that color is bad. So, for the rest of the review, I manually turned down the exposure, and it does look a little bit better. Still yellow, but, not as bad. Look, a license plate that's actually readable when I'm stopped. Who would have thought?
This is an audio sample from the Dashcam, currently driving along at about 75-76 kilometers per hour, and it's a gorgeous bluebird day out. Brilliant blue skies, lovely snowy mountains in the distance, and a big truck riding right beside us, speeding quite a bit too. Anyways, this is what it sounds like when I'm talking at a slightly louder than normal. This is what it sounds like when I'm talking at a slightly louder than normal volume and going at speed.
Yes, if only it was this blissful, if only these were the bad things. Haven't shown you night footage yet, we'll get to that in a minute or two, but first, I want you to just listen to this clip. I've turned down the volume for you so it doesn't shatter your ears. So nice of me, you're welcome. Other than the sweet sounds of potential copyright infringement, yeah, you hear that? That neat. That noise is this camera's lane detection warning system. So it has a headlight warning system and a lane detection warning system and another smart feature that I can't remember anymore because it's been 6 months. Turning them all on becomes a cacophony of noise. The camera makes this little honk noise for the lane detection warning system, a buzzing noise for the headlight warning system, and a beeping noise for the other warning system. And all together, it just goes off all the time, constantly, non-stop. They got one thing right, and they didn't have these fake features enabled by default. But that's the only good thing that I can say about them. They don't work whatsoever. I'm not entirely sure if they are fake, but they're probably fake. This is a multi-channel dash cam with at least 2 working cameras. We already discussed how the rear camera doesn't work. So let's check out that other camera, the interior facing camera. Are you ready for this? Oh my gosh, it is so zoomed in. Why is it so zoomed in? The interior facing camera films at 640 by 480 with 25 frames per second. So it's not particularly high quality, and it is so incredibly zoomed in that you basically can't see anything when the camera is pointed in the right direction. The interior camera is fixed to the main body of the dashcam unit, and there's no way to adjust it left or right without throwing off the adjustment of the front facing camera. So depending on where the camera is mounted, the driver might not actually be visible on the interior camera. There's also no infrared lights or other sources of illumination for the interior camera, so here's what night footage looks like. Yep, just some bright glare from the following car's headlights, and that's about it. In conclusion, if you want night footage that is darker than a black hole, a cacophony of noise that's louder than a pandemonium of parrots, and the video quality equivalent of an old person's cataracts, buy this camera. But no, seriously, don't buy this camera. Whatever you do not buy this camera. Don't click the affiliate link. Don't go to that webpage. You know what? I'm not even gonna link to it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. Leave a comment, something like that. I appreciate all your support.